Hey Brian, how was your weekend this?
Pretty well.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, you're on the air.
What?
You're on the air.
Breaking news! Local farmers' fish were killed mysteriously today. We are going to our field team to get more information on this mysterious occurrence. David!
Thanks, Bob. I'm here at the scene where the dead fish were reported earlier this morning. We have a detective inspecting the scene to determine what the cause of this mysterious occurrence. And we have an eyewitness here to tell us exactly how it went down.
Well, young sir, I was walking by my neighbor's new garden and I saw in her pond a bunch of dead fish. And I don't know how they got there, but we gotta figure that out because that's a big environmental disaster in this small town. I'm telling you.
Everyone clear out the scene. Clear out the scene. Detective coming through. Let's take a look at these fish. It's been poisoned by something. I just don't know what it is.
Well, that's what we've been trying to figure out.
Who are you?
I'm Professor Arnold from the University of London.
Who invited you here? I'm the detective at the scene.
Your boss hired me.
Why would he hire you? I'm the detective. That's what I do.
I'm a professor in biology.
So, Mr. Smarty Pants, what do you think it is?
It's Arnold. I think it could be because of a biochemical cycle.
And what would that be?
Maybe the water cycle.
How do you test it?
I'll show you.
The cycle starts with either evaporation, which is water turning to a gas from being heated up, or transpiration, which is when plants exhale water vapor. These gases rise until they start to cool down and condensate around tiny particles in the cold atmosphere. This creates clouds. Eventually, so much vapor condenses that the clouds cannot hold the condensed water any longer. The water, snow, sleet, depending on the conditions, precipitate from the sky. When the precipitation hits the ground, it moves to the lowest areas by traveling, which is called runoff. When the lowest point is reached, they create a collection of water, like a lake or pond. Also, this runoff can carry minerals like phosphorus and nitrogen in them. These can cause eutrophication, which causes an overabundance of nutrients in the water that can start algae blooms. Humans affect the cycle too. Humans can cause runoff to include harmful materials in it like fertilizers and chemicals. Also, they can see clouds and make it rain when it wouldn't have naturally. Like the carbon and oxygen cycle, this cycle goes on indefinitely.
So if it's not the water cycle, then what is it?
Well, it also could be part of the phosphorus cycle.
Phosphate mining is when humans mine phosphates for industrial purposes, like use in fertilizer. Phosphate can also enter the environment via erosion, where water releases phosphate over time, which is an essential natural fertilizer for the land plants. When too much phosphate is released in the rocks, the runoff carries it and feeds the algae in the water bodies. This can cause the overgrowth of algae and it can deplete the oxygen from the water, which can kill aquatic animals. This is called eutrophication. Phosphorus can also enter the soil and feed plants. The phosphorus reaches the root via diffusion. From there, the plant uptakes the phosphorus and uses it for nutrition. These nutrients are absorbed and are essential for a plant's health. Phosphorus that is taken in is either organic or inorganic. Organic phosphorus is the phosphorus found in organic or decomposed residues of organisms. Inorganic phosphorus includes soil solution phosphorus, sorbate phosphorus, or mineral phosphorus. Phosphorus can also be taken out of the soil in a process called leaching. Leaching is when soluble phosphorus is taken from the subsurface by runoff. This is not good for the soil as it takes the phosphorus out of it. Humans impact the cycle too. By mining phosphate, humans can enter too much phosphate into the environment in the form of fertilizer. Also, humans can introduce phosphate into the environment via sewage and waste, leading to an even worse eutrophication. Like all other cycles, it repeats indefinitely.
Along with the phosphorus cycle, what else could you do?
It could possibly be part of the nitrogen cycle.
What's the nitrogen cycle?
I'll explain.
Nitrogen fixation is a process in which nitrogen is turned into a usable form, like ammonia, which is NH3. It can be done artificially by bacteria or even lightning. Nitrification is when bacteria oxidize ammonia into nitrate, which is NO3, and nitrite, which is NO2. These two molecules help plants grow, and they are found in soil. Denitrification is the opposite of nitrification. Denitrification is where bacteria turn nitrate and nitrite into the gaseous forms of nitrogen, like N2. Ammonification is when some types of fungi and prokaryotes decompose dead organisms and release ammonia into the ecosystem. When nitrogen finds its way into ponds or water bodies, it can feed algae and cause eutrophication, which can kill any aquatic organisms inside the water by depleting the oxygen supply. Humans, like every other cycle, affect the system. They can introduce nitrogen into the environment via fertilizer. This can cause eutrophication. Also, humans can have artificial ways of fixing nitrogen in the atmosphere to increase industry, but ultimately hurt the environment by introducing too much nitrogen into it.
So since we've discussed all these cycles, is that the last one? No, it could also be the oxygen and carbon cycle.
Carbon and oxygen are both essential to life. Plants get carbon and oxygen either from the ground, in which decomposition of dead organisms puts them there, or from photosynthesis, the process in which CO2 is converted into oxygen. Decomposition can contribute to carbonate, which is basically carbon stored in rocks such as limestone. Plants also can get carbon from things like wood that combust when lit on fire and release the CO2 into the atmosphere. So trees can act like carbon sinks, which take in more carbon than they can produce, which helps combat climate change. Opposite to photosynthesis, respiration turns oxygen to CO2, and this is done by many animals. Eutrophication is when algae take in all the oxygen in the water they inhabit and starve any wildlife in the water that need the oxygen. All of these processes intertwine and create a cycle that continues indefinitely. Humans affect the cycle too. As said, they have cellular respiration and we perform combustion while driving cars every day.
Since I understand all the biochemical things, I feel like I should know why the fish are poisoned. Oh my gosh, I got it.
What are you doing?
Basically, the precipitation from the rain this past week has caused runoff from the fertilizer of their garden into this pond, causing the fertilizer's nitrogen to basically trap the oxygen of the fish in this water, causing them to basically suffocate.
Alright, rolling.
Breaking news! Get yourself some algae-eating fish. Use a fertilizer supplement such as manure to avoid eutrophication problems.
Whoa, what happened?
The camera shut down, but you can still.
Oh, okay.
Audience
For the manure, instead of produced fertilizer, manure is a natural source of nutrients for the plants. And they have less pollution byproducts. For the algae-eating fish, the fish would eat algae before they took over and suffocated the pond.
Thank you. Have a great night.